Hi, I'm Paco, and you're watching. Hey guys, so today's video, which you're gonna see, and you've already clicked on the video, so you see the title, but it is my interview with Adam Thomas. I did this interview at Yallwest. When I applied for the media pass, I was like, I'm gonna put Aiden Thomas as a possible interview, because it was an option to do, like, if you want to do author interviews. And I'm like, okay, well, Aiden Thomas is going to be there. I'm going to shoot my shot. Never thinking I was going to get it. Not even sure I was going to get the media pass again. And I got both. So I, like, spiritually died for a couple days. Came back and then did the interview. It was nerve-wracking for me, at least, mentally. I mean, I've done interviews with Angela Montoya and Sandra Proudman, but those were via online. So it was a little, not as intimidating. But, like, doing the one-on-one interview, I think, was really nerve-wracking. Aiden Thomas was awesome, of course, but I just was nervous. So yeah, here's the interview, you guys, and then I will see you next time. Okay. Hi, I'm here with Aiden Thomas, the icon, the legend, award-winning author of Cemetery Boys, The Sunbury Trials, Lost in the Neverwoods, and soon-to-be Spirit 2. Yeah. And we are here at Yallwest, and I just have a couple questions for him. Yeah. So you are coming back to The Cemetery World Boys, the book that started it all. How has that experience been? Like, after having changed and grown, how does that feel?
It feels really nice. When I was writing Cemetery Boys, I loved being in Julian's head so much, but like he's just like, the love interest side character. So when it was time to really tell a story from his POV, and we do have some chapters from Yadriel as well, but it just felt so natural and easy because he's such a character that I'm so familiar and comfortable with. And he's also just like very funny and silly. Yeah. So that also like added another kind of, a fun element to it. So it's just been really, really fun. And to kind of decide like what other East LA Easter eggs I want to add and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been so much fun. It's been great.
I think we're all super excited for it. I know a lot of us dropped everything when we saw the cover reveal and everything. I think I was personally hurt when the book was pushed back. I get it.
Oh my God.
I think I get it, but I got
it. Like, what, 2 weeks after I announced it?
Yeah, I was like,
that was so embarrassing. I was just like, oh my God.
I think I actually had just filmed my like anticipated releases for next year. And I was like, but
ruined it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want the perfect version, the best version, so I don't ever, But your other series, Sunbury Trials, has demigods. If you took your Cemetery Boy characters and put them into Sunbearers, do you know any idea of who their like parents would be or if anything like that?
I think it makes sense that Yadriel would be helping Phantasma, who is our goddess of the afterlife, and she helps out our goddess of the dead. And God, Julian, I'm trying to think. I feel like he would make a really good son of Tormentoso, so the storm god. I think that would fit really well because Julian, he's got a little bit of a temper problem sometimes. He's working through it, but kind of that storminess about Julian and how all these really, really big emotions, I think would fit really well with that family. I think he and Otzi would be like perfect siblings. Yeah.
I think he would be a good, like, fun older brother to her. Totally, it would be so fun to see. So you released the promos for Stray Gods. I've been obsessed with it since seeing it. Is there anything you could talk about that or any of your other upcoming releases that we were all like counting the days for?
Stray Gods I'm really, really excited about because it's going to be more dark than like what my stories usually are. I can tell you about the three main characters. So we have Nemon, who is a boy who can summon nightmares. And then we have Rafa, who is a were-jaguar. And then we have Rose, who is a dying necromancer. Yeah, so I can tell you that about it. And then before that, what we have in between is Gay Titanic in Space coming out, which I'm also very, very excited for.
I think we've all been like counting the days for that. But I mean, like I said, I won't take your time. We want with the best version.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one to come out.
Your books focus a lot on Latinx culture. They make your worlds vibrant because using it in today's age, I think that's extremely important to show that. How does that feel? Like not having that responsibility, but that getting that opportunity to like share that with the world.
Yeah, I'm very proud of my culture, and it's a beautiful, vibrant one, which I think is why it lends so well to my stories and my world building, because it just feels like I get to show off, and like how a lot of the magic systems are just like the everyday practices that I do. well in my home and with my community. So that's just been really fun and freeing. And I think especially right now when I have younger readers who are like, oh, this joke or like even like this East LA Easter egg like really stood out to me and I really, really loved it. Like I love that, the kind of the almost like winking at each other of knowing like the little nods and Easter eggs is really, really fun. It's my favorite thing to do and write about.
I like personally love it. I remember seeing Cemetery Boys when it first came out.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, "Oh, I finally have a book that looks like us." That, like
totally.
queer, Latinx, Mexican as hell. I was like, we get to be on a cover finally.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And especially like these, like today, like the world, state of the world. I just think that's so much of a light that you bring, and that's amazing.
Thank you so much.
If you had all the money in the world, or you can manifest anything, and you can make adaptations of your work,
Yes.
what are we getting?
Okay, my ideal situation for Cemetery Boys and for the Sunbury Trials, I would love it to be animated because it's like either it's live action and you need just a wildly large budget, otherwise it just looks kind of janky. But with animation, it's such a beautiful art and these worlds are so vibrant and colorful that I would die to see them as like a K-pop Demon Hunters or like an Avatar The Last Airbender, that like really culturally rich animation and world building I think would be my like ideal situation for those stories for sure.
When reading Sunbear Trials, My Hero Academia was the vibe. So I could see it. I want the animated series green-lighted already.
My Hero Academia was a huge inspiration for the Sunbear Trials, which I think anyone who has seen My Hero and has read that like knows it. Oh my god, yeah, I love a tournament arc. It's like my favorite thing.
What do I have here? Is there any scene that you have written or any part of your books where you're like, I did that? Like you're super proud of it, or you're like that you think that would be not a stand, like you have so much great stuff, but just any scene that's super like important to you?
Yeah, I think the two that I think of is the end of Cemetery Boys, where Yadriel's dad is kind of giving that speech. And when I was trying to figure out what I wanted that to sound like and what I wanted it to be, I actually went through and rewatched like old quinces that I had been to or just like on YouTube where the dad gives a speech, like a quince speech. So what I did is I took that kind of framing and then I just, made it more about gender identities and, welcoming all parts of our community and how it makes it stronger. So I felt really good about that part. And I felt pretty, again, endings are really hard. Yeah. But Celestial Monsters, I felt really satisfied with the way that book ended and that, I said from the very beginning of that series that someone would have to die. Mm-hmm. And I feel like how that unfolded at the end of the final book was really, I was really proud of how I did that. And from the feedback that I've gotten from readers, although they're very mad at me, which is fair, they really it was, it tugged on the heartstrings and it felt really satisfying. So I'm very proud of that too.
Yeah, no, I think the ending for Sunbear Trials series was done phenomenally. Hoping there's more in this world, but
I have ideas. I just have to write all these other books that they gave me for.
But bringing on what you said about Cemetery Boys, I really do like that we had the struggle with Yadriel's family, but you did not vilify the family in their not unacceptance, but not knowing. And I feel like it's so easily done in media or even just perceptions. I mean, looking at kind of when Encanto was coming out and the way the grandma was being treated by the fans, I really appreciate that you did not vilify the family. Yes. And that, because it's such a big part of our culture, Mexican culture. Yeah. And I really appreciated that. And I thought, going into that, was that the goal or did that just happen?
I was trying to be super purposeful with how I wrote the reaction of Yads' family and community. Because when I was growing up, before I kind of started being an author, whenever there was a trans story, the family had one of two very extreme reactions. Either they completely disowned the character and it was really traumatizing and terrible, or the other side was that they were suddenly magically the perfect allies, which just felt unrealistic. Mm-hmm. So for me, having Yads' family and community reacted the way that they did, it was more a reflection of how my family reacted, which is, no one hates Yads for being trans. They don't understand. And without the heavy lifting of the trans person really explaining all of that, it can be really difficult to navigate, especially when you're a trans person using new pronouns when your family's language is gendered, is also create so many different kind of like a minefield truly of like missteps that could happen. So I just really wanted to show a loving family that also doesn't understand. It's not out of malice or hate or anything like that. It's just way more nuanced than that. And so it was really important to me to show that. Yeah.
And I'll say again, thank you for that. My last question is, do you have any books or like music or shows that you're like really loving right now that you want to share with people?
Yeah, I have been rewatching On My Block on Netflix, which is like, I love that show. And I think it's very Cemetery Boys coded.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of kids in East LA just like running the streets and getting into trouble, which is basically Cemetery Boys. I love that one so much. I'm also rewatching Jujutsu Kaisen, which I love, and that was like definitely like some Stray Gods inspo from that one too. So those are the big ones. And right now I am reading Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. And it's like, you would think when you read all of the other books that like you're prepared, but I'm just not. Every time I'm just like, this is so brutal. I'm like slowly listening to the audiobook and I'm just like, oh my heart. It's just so good. I know, then it totally does.
Well, I think that's our time. So I want to just thank you again. And then also as a queer Latinx reader, for all the queer Latinx kids, thank you for writing, for being out there in a time where it's not easy to be out there. I want to thank you for that.
This is truly my joy and honor and pleasure to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good question.